The life and legacy of Francis Marion, the Swamp Fox. If you enjoy videos like this, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so we can bring you more insightful videos like this. Don't forget to click the bell icon to stay updated on our latest content. Now into the history. Francis Marion, a name synonymous with resilience, ingenuity, and guerrilla warfare, is a figure whose legacy continues to resonate in the annals of American history. Known as the Swamp Fox for his mastery of irregular warfare in the low-country swamps of South Carolina, Marion was one of the most important, though often overlooked, leaders in the American Revolution. His tactics and leadership made him a hero of the Revolution, and his story is one of courage, resourcefulness, and unrelenting commitment to the cause of liberty. Early life and background: 1732 to 1758. Born in 1732 in the South Carolina colony, Francis Marion was the youngest of 6 children in a family of French Huguenot descent. His father, Gabriel Marion, had fled France to escape religious persecution and settled in the American colonies. The Marion family's plantation was situated near the Wando River in the Low Country, a region characterized by its vast wetlands, slow-moving rivers, and dense forests. This unique terrain would later become integral to Marion's success as a military leader. Growing up on the plantation, Marion learned the value of hard work, self-sufficiency, and a deep connection to the land. His father ensured that all his children, including Francis, received a strong education, especially in history and military strategy, which would have a profound influence on Marion's later life. As a child, Marion spent a significant amount of time working alongside his family in the fields. This hands-on experience not only shaped his character, but also familiarized him with the difficult landscape that would play a crucial role in his military campaigns. In his teenage years, Marion joined the local militia, an organization that would become crucial in the years leading up to the Revolutionary War. During this period, he began to develop his leadership skills, learning how to lead small groups and navigate the region's terrain, which would later serve him well in the fight against British forces. The French and Indian War, early military experience, 1758 to 1763. The French and Indian War, a theater of the larger global conflict known as the 7 Years' War, was Marion's first exposure to formal military combat. At the age of 24, he enlisted as a lieutenant in the South Carolina Provincial Militia. Serving under British officers, Marion participated in a number of engagements against the French and their Native American allies. While Marion did not achieve any major fame during this war, the skills and lessons he gained proved invaluable during the American Revolution. The French and Indian War introduced Marion to the realities of military service, particularly the importance of logistics, communication, and intelligence. Marion fought in several skirmishes on the frontier, but it was the unconventional nature of warfare that caught his attention. The way Native American warriors and frontier fighters used surprise tactics and hit-and-run strategies gave him a new perspective on the effectiveness of irregular warfare. After the war, Marion returned to his plantation and resumed his life as a landowner. He married Mary Vido, a woman from a prominent French Huguenot family, and became more involved in local politics. However, the peace he had fought for was short-lived. Prelude to Revolution, Growing Tensions, 1763 to 1775. By the mid-1760s, tensions between the British Crown and the American colonies were rising. The British imposed a series of taxes, such as the Stamp Act, 1765, and the Townshend Acts, 1767, on the colonies in an effort to pay off debts from the French and Indian War. These acts were deeply unpopular, particularly in the southern colonies, where wealthy landowners like Marion saw their economic independence threatened. Francis Marion, despite his initially quiet life as a plantation owner, became increasingly vocal in his opposition to British rule. As the colonies moved toward rebellion, Marion's military experience, combined with his strong sense of independence, made him a natural leader. The question of how to respond to British tyranny was no longer theoretical. It was something that Marion knew would eventually demand action. In 1775, as the colonies moved toward open rebellion, Marion joined the South Carolina militia and was appointed a lieutenant colonel in the Continental Army. At the age of 43, he was no longer a young man, but he was eager to take up arms for the cause of independence. Little did he know that his skills in leadership and military strategy would soon set him on a path to become one of the Revolution's most unconventional and successful military figures. The American Revolution, Marion's guerrilla warfare, 1775 to 1781. The British military strategy during the Revolutionary War was grounded in traditional European tactics, line formations, heavy artillery, and set-piece battles. This approach was highly effective on open fields but proved disastrous in the dense, swampy terrain of South Carolina. Marion quickly realized that conventional warfare would not succeed in the South. When the British captured Charleston in 1780, they effectively secured the southern colonies. With much of the Continental Army either in retreat or in disarray, it seemed as though the revolution might be lost. However, Marion refused to give in. His knowledge of the terrain, combined with his experience in irregular warfare, allowed him to begin waging a campaign of guerrilla resistance. Marion and his militia used the swamps and forests of South Carolina to their advantage. They conducted lightning-fast raids on British supply lines, cut off communication between British outposts, and freed captured Americans. One of his most famous raids occurred in 1781, when he led a successful attack on the British-held town of Georgetown, freeing over 150 American prisoners. His tactics were innovative: strike quickly, disappear into the swamps, and leave the British searching for him in vain. His small but highly effective force, often no more than 100 men, was able to outmaneuver much larger British forces, much to their frustration. The British, under General Cornwallis, began to refer to Marion as the Swamp Fox, because of his ability to strike without warning and vanish without a trace. Despite the difficulties of fighting in such an unforgiving environment, Marion and his men were able to inflict serious damage on the British, both in terms of morale and their ability to maintain control of the region. The turning point and final years, 1781 to 1795. By 1781, the tide of the war was turning in favor of the Americans. The British were exhausted from their efforts in the southern colonies, and the Continental Army, with the help of local militias like Marion's, had begun to wear down their forces. The siege of Yorktown in 1781, which resulted in the surrender of General Cornwallis, was a final blow to British hopes of maintaining control over the colonies. After the war, Marion retired to his plantation and took up a quieter life. He had no formal education, but his experiences in battle had shaped him into a leader of exceptional skill. He lived the remainder of his years on his estate, where he died in 1795 at the age of 63. Marion's legacy, however, would endure long after his death. His innovative tactics, particularly his use of guerrilla warfare, became a model for future military leaders. His ability to mobilize local militias, his knowledge of terrain, and his tenacity in the face of overwhelming odds made him a key figure in the eventual success of the revolution. Despite his humble origins and lack of formal military training, Marion's ingenuity on the battlefield earned him a permanent place in the pantheon of American revolutionary heroes. Here's a quick recap of the story. Francis Marion, known as the Swamp Fox, was a key figure in the American Revolution, particularly in the Southern theater of the war. Born in South Carolina in 1732, he became an expert in guerrilla warfare, using the swampy terrain to his advantage in striking against British forces. His raids and ambushes significantly weakened British morale and hindered their control over the southern colonies. Though he faced numerous challenges, his tactical brilliance and leadership led to critical victories, helping to turn the tide of the revolution. Marion's legacy endures as one of the revolution's unsung heroes, whose ingenuity and resolve played a pivotal role in securing American independence. Thank you so much for joining us and sticking around until the end of the video. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the life of Francis Marion, the Swamp Fox, and gained a better understanding of his impact on the American Revolution. If you found this video informative, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We've got many more historical stories like this on the way. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.